Hello, and welcome to the cut-down version of my talk, Tracking the Trackers or How to Win Eurovision for B-Sides Athens 2020. My name is Vangelis Stykas. I worked as a senior penetration tester at Pendas Partners on my day-to-day job, and on my free time, I'm focusing on APIs that control any IoT that I could find. Today's talk is about IoT trackers and how they have flooded current market. As you can see here, the projected size of the GPS tracker market is over 2.5 billion on 2023. There are a lot of GPS trackers varying from pets to cars to pretty much everything. The scariest of all is the car ones because some of them have OBD2 access, which means that it can control the car if it is owned. The common problem that we see is that most trackers are using some common APIs from white label resellers. As you can see here, there's a third-party backend that multiple mobile apps are using it. They're paying for it and using it. And Commonality in vehicle trackers, we have seen it being done repeatedly. One off-the-shelf case was Tracker, which was using the same API backend as Viper, which was the white label market Calam. Everything that is going to be shown to you today, presented to you today, is already released on early 2018. It was done that work that I did with Mitch on Twitter. It was dubbed as trackmageddon. You can see the full things now on this link. It affected at that time close to 2 million GPS tracking devices. Unfortunately, the past 2 years meant that the issues were not fixed and the tracking devices more than doubled. So we are looking at 50 million, close to 50 million GPS tracking devices right now. The device types were 370 at that time. It's close to 500 right now. And most of them are from a Chinese ODM, which is named Thinkrace. Thinkrace was the official smartwatch supplier for the 2019 Special Olympics in Abu Dhabi, and it was never secure. It's not using HTTPS on any of their APIs. It's the least of their problems. They also have a pretty strange definition of open source. As you can see here, they are open source software for partners, which means that you have to pay them to give you their source code. And I'm pretty sure this is not how open source works. If you have a tracker, and when you go to the web page that it's in your manual, you see that page, you are using Thinkrace backends, and it seems that you are vulnerable to vulnerabilities. As I said, Thinkrace is a white label API reseller. Too long didn't read any non-API call required authentication. As it was a SOAP service, it was just as easy as browsing to the WSDL files to get the documentation, which was freely available. All variables were incremental integers, which made brute forcing throughout the full database pretty easy. Whenever I saw something that said vendor specific next to it, it resulted either on SQL injection or RCA. I didn't exploit those because we have to follow Computer Misuse Act, but yeah, most of the people aren't bound by this, so you could look at it, I guess. And you can easily identify from the endpoint name whenever you see an open API v and the number .asmx, it means that this is a Thinkrace server. All users start with a default password of 123456. To my understanding, most of them didn't change it, and some of them were resellers, which meant that you could see thousands of devices, or even admins, which meant that you could take over the full platform. The attack that we're going to see is a zombie attack straight from the 90s. It's pure idle. You could do pretty much everything by just changing a number. The Google Doc for you to find any or all of the server is in URL OpenAPI v2. The v2 had 126 results. The v3 had even more, but you can try whatever number you feel like from 1 to 5 and see any open servers. As you would see in some of the following scenarios, we would need to identify where the device is country-wise. So in order to identify, there are multiple ways to identify where the device is located. You can obviously get the last known location, we're talking about the GPS tracker, and then geolocate it to a country. You can get the number of the family number or the device and get the country code from that so that you know where the device is. To query the device, you can just get device detail. The result will return in full detail everything from the server location to phone numbers to names. Obviously, this is a pure GDPR violation, and it's really bad. The bad thing that I see in here is that they are returning JSON inside XML, which is scary. There are servers that have admin endpoints. They still have no authentication at all. You can retrieve the existing firmware or even upload a new firmware for all the devices. So you could brick or backdoor all the devices of the platform to make it whatever you want. As I said, we are currently looking at 500 known vulnerable devices, and I couldn't fit all the domains that are vulnerable. I think there are more than 100 right now, but I just stopped looking at some point because they didn't respond at anything. What can we do? We can track anyone, we can change any email, we can change all contacts, including emails, we can change the geofences, or we would just force a firmware update to change the firmware with our own and take over the device. The other vendor that I have looked at is named GPSUI.net and also VMUI.net. The vendor never responded after 4 years, not 3 years of multiple attempts. I have sent emails, I have phone called, I even called at their data center, but no response at all. The vulnerability is a classical horizontal escalation of privileges that would allow anyone to view and control any device by sending push commands. At least I had to buy one device to get access, so it needed authentication, it didn't need authorization. And this one is even scarier because, as we would see afterwards on Thinkrace, you had to do some mumbo jumbo to actually trigger it. In GPS UI, you just push a command and it responds. As you can see in here, it's the serial number, the SN, is also an intermediate integer, and you can send any command, any SMS command to any of the 1 million devices. So what we can do, we can abuse the SIM and make money of it. We could set up a premium line, which would cost us about £50 to set up and £50 per year. We can command the devices to phone it. We can keep phoning until the credit expires, and we could get 80 Ps per call. But this is a viable solution, but you need to be accredited by PSA, which is 155 pounds per year. And you also have to wait 6 weeks for the first payment, and there are a lot of legal issues that will arise at some point. So the attack scenario, every platform that is vulnerable to an IDOR, we could retrieve the existing owner phone number of the tracker. You could change that owner tracker, then trigger it to call back or send an SMS to that line, change that number to your premium line, and profit of it. The trigger conditions, as I said previously, for GPS UI, it was quite easy. You could just send a push notification, and it would call or send the SMS. But for the Thinkrace, you should be able to either trigger it via geofence on the device that we're moving, or wait for the microphone, set a really low level of alert on the microphone, and then when someone talked the next to it, it would send the SMS trigger. So can we call a premium line? As you can see in here, yes, you can. The other attack scenario is fish an existing premium line provider, ask for a bug change, ramp up the calls, and on the next month you would have profit, and leave the attack scenario at the premium provider to handle the legal issues that are going to happen. But yeah, that's probably not the best the way of making profit. You could always text donate if you are an ethical person to a scope of your own and feel better for you. You could always use British Red Cross or any other charity that you like. So it's quite harder to do because it needs control of the message. We usually don't have control of the message, of the SMS message. It would be possible if we rewrote the firmware and push it through Thinkrace, but we didn't have the time or the ability to do it at this point. The easy part and the part that you all came is the Eurovision. So in order to do that, you either call a number or send an SMS with any text in there. Usually the calls are 35p's and the average top up that those devices have are $10. So you could send 30 votes from each of the devices. So 25 million devices, 25 times it is 7 billion votes. The issue is that Eurovision had already thought of it, so you could take all the televote points, but you should also have a pretty good song to get some of the jury votes. There are some numbers that my friend Tony did on how we could win Eurovision, but something that you could actually use win are TV shows. So X Factor. You could send, this is the UK X Factor, you could send a lot of votes in there. Some more numbers that you can see, and with some guerrilla math, we can see that we could win the UK X Factor the past 5 years just by tricking devices that are in the UK to send SMSs. How we could profit by that, which is very viable, we could just bet on winners. It's really low level, it's less likely to be spotted, and the winnings are tax free in the UK. We could also DDoS any call center. How many lines does a call center have? We could trick the devices into constantly calling the call center and doing DDoS on there. Did anyone exploit that? The only thing that we found was kids TV talent in Russia. 41,000 votes were from one kid. They were easily detected because it came from consecutive numbers from one area. That is not the case with our this attack scenario because it will not be consecutive numbers or one area. So the disclosure went really bad. We told Thinkrace multiple times, not really interested. The AC trackers were fixed because we have also reported for there. The GPS UI are also not fixed right now. And this is not isolated to Thinkrace. The majority of the trackers that are being sold actively in the market have these flaws. The easy solution to fix this is stop using trackers. They're all shit, but if you really need to use them, top up and buy packs or plans at that time. Don't store credit on them. Some MVNOs offer cheap credit only services. These have a really high risk for it. Keep a low credit and minimize the risk of your attacking. But yeah, just stop using trackers. This was Vaggelis Stykas. You can follow me on Twitter on the following on this handle, and you should also follow Pendes Partners and go to that blog. We regularly post security